too labyrinthian. A review? Sure, I can do a review. I think this game is great. It's an action RPG from the side-scrolling perspective with hack and slash action, and I'm surprised at how few games there are that are like that. There aren't a lot. I mean, there's Monster World 4, there's Ease 3, and there's Popful Mail, and there's also, oh man, I forgot the name of it, but there's like an arcade game. So there aren't a lot of games like this, and I wish there were, because it's a lot of fun. It's not a perfect game, though. The platforming in this game is terrible, and unfortunately, there's a lot of platforming. It's hard to really describe. It's one of those things that you really do need to play it yourself to understand how bad the jumping mechanics are in this game, but they're terrible. It's clunky. Jumping from platform to platform, it's imprecise. It's hard to pull off. It feels sluggish. At the end of the game, you get boots that enhance your jumping ability, but it comes so late in the game that it's mostly inconsequential, but it feels great once you have it. And, to the game's detriment, even though the jumping mechanics are so bad, there's so much platforming in this game. And actually, that's the hardest part about this game. It's not really the enemies, because at least you can level up and increase your health and, get abilities and items to make combat a little bit easier. It's the platforming that makes it so hard. And the fire dungeon, the dungeon I was streaming yesterday, remember when I would screw up? If you screw up, you have to do it all over again from the beginning. That's horrible level design. So that's my second complaint about this game. The level design is too labyrinthian in the beginning, too confusing. Even when you have a map, it's confusing. Like, remember, I was trying to stream it. I was looking at a map, trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go, and I couldn't figure it out. Because it just required too much memorization. Okay, where do I go now? Okay, I gotta go to this door, then I gotta go to the left, down here, It's too much. A game that has such labyrinthian dungeons needs to have a map feature. It needs to have a mini-map and a full map when you pause the game. This game has neither of those. Now, in the retail version, it did come with a physical map, but that's no substitute for an in-game map. Any game that has labyrinthian dungeons needs to have a map feature. So that was just some bizarre omission on the developer's part. And it's all the more egregious in the fire dungeon, where, they have stupid stuff like invisible air currents, which block your way, block your progression. I think that's a really dumb idea. I don't mind some of it. It's kind of cool when it does happen, although it does look a little janky. I mean, you saw a little bit of it when I was getting through the last dungeon. But for the most part, it really sucks when you are knocked down a ditch by like a blue monster and then you have to do the whole dungeon over again. Also, I think the game is just too damn hard. When you die, you start all over from the first level. Now, in fairness to the game, it does have a save feature, but it's bizarre that it just doesn't implement a better system when you die. When you die, it should just boot you back to the last fortune teller person that you spoke to. Instead, it boots you back to the first fortune teller in the first town, which is stupid beyond imagination. And I think the damage and the way you regenerate health, you have to stand still. I think that's really dumb. And what you end up doing is you just stand still a lot, and you increase the game speed, or you use a turbo feature on DOSBox. And too often, an enemy will just come by and kill you in a second, and you can't react because the game is in fast mode. There should have been a better way to regenerate your health. Have enemies drop health potions or something like that to restore your health, Or allow the character to carry more health potions, You can only carry 5 items. I think it would have been better if you could carry like 10 health potions and then 5 different items of an assorted kind. Um, yeah, so I think that pretty much covers all my like major complaints about the game. Everything I like about the game is everything else. I mean, the graphics. This is a 1987 game. The graphics for this game are phenomenal for its time, and even by today's standards, they look great. The music is amazing, and this is just the Sound Blaster music. They also have Tandy music and also the original music. I forgot what PC this thing was on originally, but the music. If you listen to the original music and also some of the different kinds of like the Tandy music as well, just sounds so good. It sounds even better than what you're listening to now. The sound effects leave a bit to be desired, but in all fairness, I when I was a kid, I had to use the PC speaker to listen to sound effects, and that was terrible. It wasn't even sound; it was noise. Um, and the gameplay is really fun, just hacking and slashing everything. And also the RPG mechanics, you're spending gold to upgrade your character. You feel satisfied as you go along. Your character becomes more and more powerful. And it has what I call the Contra effect. Contra is a really hard game, but when you get that spread gun, it's the great equalizer, so it makes the game so much easier and so much more satisfying once you get it. In this game, once you get the most powerful weapon and when you get those jump boots and the most powerful magic, you get that same feeling, that same effect. And it's so satisfying and awesome once that happens. So, yeah, I love this game. I think it's great. It's not perfect, but it is still a great game. I wish they could remake this, with modern graphics and just like improve the controls and the jumping mechanics. And then it would be even better. And also add a mini map. That would be great. So that's my review, and that's